Let's spend a whole week together making dinners. We're gonna make some delicious, homemade, made from scratch dinners together. Hello family, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I am Vicki and you are with Grammy in the Kitchen. We talk about our breakfasts and our lunches, but this video is just all about dinners made from scratch. We are preheating the oven to 400 degrees because if you saw in the last video, we made pizza dough. And one of those doughs we're gonna turn into a focaccia. God, I hope I'm saying that right. So here's one of the doughs. I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil in here. You know what, I think I want to do two doughs. We're going to add a little bit of finger punches in here. Let's put a little bit of oil on top. So I have some Italian seasoning. Some onion powder. And some garlic powder. Maybe like a little bit more than a quarter of a teaspoon, but not quite a half. Oh, that's beautiful already. If you saw the video where we did a protein haul and we got chicken wings on sale and we bought them, I'm actually par cooking those to put in the freezer. But we're gonna have some of those for dinner tonight. And some French fries, focaccia, and wings. That's what we're having for dinner. I'm gonna make some sour cream ranch dressing so I'll have something to dip my wings into. So not that much sour cream in here, so we're just gonna use it all. That's about maybe a half a cup of sour cream. I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of this instant ranch dressing mix that I had in the cabinet. It's a buttermilk type ranch dressing. Mix that very well together. Perfect. I'm going to cover this and put it in the refrigerator until we're ready to sit down and eat. Went ahead and took out 20 wings from the pot of parboiling. We're just going to be using some G. Hughes original barbecue sauce. So we're going to paint that on all nice and beautiful. Then we'll turn them about 20 minutes, paint the other side, and cook it for another 20 minutes. And we have some store-bought frozen potatoes. Put that on the other half. It's going to go in the oven for 20 minutes and then we'll turn the wings, paint them again, give the French fries a toss, cook it for another 20 minutes and see if dinner's ready. But the breadsticks are done. Smells delicious. Go ahead and remove that from the pan. But the breadsticks are ready. We have the ranch dressing ready. We're just waiting on those wings and French fries, and we're ready for dinner. Okay, it's been 20 minutes since we put these in the oven. Get all the wings flipped. Now we're going to go ahead and paint the other side. Give the french fries a little toss. Back in the oven for another 20 minutes. Let's go ahead and cut the breadsticks. So the husband gave me a request for some marinara sauce for his breadstick. Just going to open up this jar and just put it in the microwave for a few seconds. And then the rest of this we're going to use on some pizzas. Let's see if we are ready. Ooh, hot pan. Okay, I think we're ready. That's the husband's plate. And that is our plate. So we're just going to sit down and have our dinner. I'll see you at the next meal. It's time to cook dinner again. So for breakfast, we had French toast. For lunch, the husband had the leftover wings and French fries from last night. I just had a chicken salad sandwich. Now it's time to cook dinner. On the stove, we have about 2 pounds of yellow Yukon potatoes. I left them whole. They're in the pot of boiling water, and I just want to make sure they're just cooked to where the knife goes in and they slide off. That is perfect. So we're going to empty this water, add some cold water so they can cool off, so we can go ahead and build our potato casserole. We're just going to leave it right there until they cool off so we can handle those. I have the oven preheated to 350 degrees. I kept one of our ground turkey, the 1 pound package, when we were processing all of that protein haul we did, in the refrigerator because I knew I was going to be using this today. And I gave the husband a choice: meatballs or meatloaf. He chose meatballs. So we're going to do a barbecue meatball. So I have a small bowl, and this is actually a bag in the freezer. It says bread cubes with Parmesan cheese. It's fine, we'll use it. Let's put about a half a cup in here. We're going to add maybe about a quarter of a cup to a third of a cup of milk. Hydrate that just a bit. All right, that looks good. All right, we're just going to let this sit aside while we season our meat. And you can use any kind of ground meat you want. You can use ground turkey, ground chicken, ground pork, ground beef, a combination, whatever you want to add. We want to make sure we get the breadcrumbs fully hydrated so it'll break up in the meat very easily. We have 1 egg. Let's go ahead and season it with some salt and pepper. Some onion powder. I'm going to do about a good heaping 1/4 teaspoon. And garlic powder. A good heaping 1/4 teaspoon. We're going to go ahead and add the egg and our hydrated bread cubes. You can use crackers if you want. Doesn't matter. Breadcrumbs is what I found in the freezer. That's what we're using. Let's get that all blended up together. It's just better to just go in there with our hands. Kind of wish I left 2 pounds of ground turkey out and made more, but that's okay. We need to have a meatball day where we just make meatballs and get some meatballs in our freezer. Got a small casserole dish. Want to make them about the size of a golf ball. And if you don't like your meatballs wet like this is, just add a little bit more bread cubes or breadcrumbs to it. It'll be fine. It looks like we get about 9 good-sized meatballs and 1 itty bitty. Go wash my hands. I put just a little bit of water in here, just enough to go about 1/3 up those meatballs. And we're going to put them in the oven and cook them. That way we don't have to babysit them on top of the stove. In a 350-degree oven. So the potatoes have been cooked. Not even going to worry about peeling it or nothing. These are yellow Yukons. They have very thin skin. It'll be fine. Just going to slice them. I have the large cast iron skillet right here. Let's go ahead and dump these in there. We're going to continue with all the potatoes. I'm slicing them between 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch. Not too thick, but not too thin. I was hoping I had some onions in my kitchen freezer, but I don't. Not even gonna worry about it. Do have some frozen green peppers. Go add about 1/4 cup. And that looks good. We're gonna do a good pinch of pepper, a good pinch of salt, some onion powder, and garlic powder. And some avocado oil. It's a good swish. Let's give everything a good toss. And that was all we're doing, and that was so simple. Came together in no time at all. We're going to put the potatoes in the oven until they start to show some color and get some crispiness to it. And then we're going to add some pepper jack cheese on top. Everything tastes better with cheese. We're going to cook those meatballs until they reach 170 degrees because it's ground turkey or ground poultry. So it's going to have both white and dark meat. So we want to make sure we get it well done. Then if there's any water left in it, we're going to drain that water out and add some barbecue sauce and some cheese on top of that. Oh, family, dinner's going to be cheesy. No pun intended. All right, let's check the potatoes. They smell good. Let's give them a little toss. Oh yeah, look at that, family. Oh yeah, that is beautiful. I'm gonna put these back in the oven. Let them cook for about another 30 minutes. It's probably been an hour since we put them in the oven. We're gonna cook them for a little bit longer. I don't think the meatballs are ready. I can see a little pink in there, but we're gonna temp it just to make sure. We want it above 170 degrees. It looks like it's stopping at 160. They are not ready. Back in the oven. And we'll let these cook for about 15 minutes and then we'll put the barbecue sauce on them. The meatballs are done. It's been an additional 15 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and remove them from the pan so I can rinse this pan out and we're not getting the gunk that's in here on the meatballs with the barbecue sauce. Man, I wish I would have had 2 pounds out, but that's okay. We got this. Just gonna wipe it out a little bit. Perfect. It's good enough. Let's put a little bit of barbecue sauce on the bottom. This is just G. Hughes original barbecue sauce. Let's place the meatballs back in here. Let's just add some barbecue sauce right on the top. And some pepper jack cheese. That looks good. Back in the oven until the cheese melts, maybe 10 minutes. And I want to put some cheese on the potatoes. Back in the oven for about 10 minutes on the potatoes. Dinner is ready. There's our beautiful cheesy potatoes. And barbecue cheesy meatballs. Family, look at that. The husband stepped out for a few minutes. He'll be back soon. We'll fix him a plate when he comes home. But let's go ahead and make our plate. Simple, easy dinner. This is the ranch dressing I made last night to go with wings and french fries. I want to be able to dip my potatoes in that. And it's just sour cream and a dried homemade ranch dressing mix. Let's try a potato. Some ooey gooey cheese, a little bit of that ranch dressing. Cooked perfect. Got a little spiciness with that onion powder and the garlic powder and with that pepper jack cheese. Yummy. Some meatballs, barbecue sauce, and pepper jack cheese. Family, we did good. When the husband comes home, we'll make him a plate, let him enjoy dinner. If there's anything left over, will be lunch tomorrow. Breakfast is going to be French toast because I don't have enough eggs to make another oatmeal bake, but I do want to make some before this week is out, so I might have to stop at the store and pick up some eggs. I hope you're enjoying your dinner as we are enjoying ours. See you tomorrow. So breakfast today, we had French toast with some sausage links. And that was the last 2 package of the frozen Heat and Eat French toast we had. So we're gonna have to make some really, really soon. For lunch, we're gonna utilize the Instant Pot and make one of my favorite quick, easy Instant Pot meals, and that's a Mexican rice. Took a trip to the freezer and I got one of our packages of frozen onions. I took out a cup of frozen carrots, and I had some already cooked frozen chicken. Went ahead and took that out. Plus I found a bag of frozen turkey. We're going to use maybe a cup or 2 from this and add it to our Spanish rice just to get some protein. It's already cooked, frozen, it's okay. So we have a can of diced tomatoes, a can of diced chilies, home canned kidney beans, and taco seasoning. And the main ingredient is going to be rice. Let's go ahead and add our corn, a cup of rice, diced tomatoes, diced chilies, and if you don't like spicy food, you don't have to use the diced chilies, but it does add a really good flavor. And I'm going to put about half of this bag of onions. It's about a cup. We're just going to put a half a cup in here. The rest I'm just going to stick back in the freezer. This is about a cup of chicken going in, and I'm going to add about a cup of cooked turkey. And I'm going to put the rest of this cooked turkey in the refrigerator freezer. That way it's easy access. I can see it. I know it's there. And the next time we make Alfredo sauce, we'll actually use this turkey just so we don't lose it to a freezer burn. I'm going to add a good pinch of pepper and a good heaping pinch of salt. I need to make some more taco seasoning really soon. I'm going to put about a tablespoon and a half of taco seasoning. And this is a quart of turkey chicken stock we canned together. I'm going to put the whole quart in here. Make sure everything is well mixed together. I think I will add some garlic powder. Maybe a half a teaspoon. That looks good. We're going to put the insert inside the Instant Pot. And hit the rice button. Set for 12 minutes. The beans we're not going to add right now. We're actually going to add this once everything's done because I don't like the beans to get overcooked. These are done beans, ready to go. So we'll put this in the mesh strainer, run some water over it, rinse all of this bean liquor, and then have just plain beans. And then we'll add it to our dinner. It'll warm up with the rice in it, so it'll be fine. But while I was in the freezer, I went ahead and took some things out we're going to need for the rest of this week. The husband really liked the breakfast baked we made. Definitely going to have to get some eggs. I'll pick that up on the way home from work tonight. So I went ahead and took a pound of our breakfast pork sausage out of the freezer to make a breakfast bake. And I went ahead and took out 2 pounds of ground turkey because I want to make a Salisbury steak. We bought 2 5-pound bags of yellow Yukon potatoes over the weekend. So part of those will go into the breakfast bake. The rest of it, we're going to go ahead and make mashed potatoes. And anything left over from dinner will turn into potato balls, potato mounds, mashed potato mounds. I don't know what I want to call them. And we'll freeze them, and that way we'll have ready to heat and eat mashed potatoes. That is one of our new favorite things to have in the freezer, is ready to heat and eat mashed potatoes. The rice is done. We let it natural release. We're going to go ahead and take it out of the Instant Pot. Oh, it's beautiful. Yummy. Perfectly cooked. I do want to go ahead and taste it for seasoning. Perfect. So I have the can of kidney beans that we drained and rinsed going in. Oh, that's so pretty. A cup of rice makes a lot of food. I want to go ahead and transfer it to a glass dish. Oh, beautiful. Look at that, family. So simple. Ingredients we had in our pantry, plus some meat we had in the freezer. And that is going to be for dinner today, lunch tomorrow, possibly dinner tomorrow night. And we have the 2 pounds of ground turkey and the 1 pound of pork breakfast sausage in the refrigerator thawing out. If you saw in the last video, we picked up 2 5-pound bags of yellow Yukon potatoes. We used half of this bag on a different meal, but we're going to save this for fresh eating. It's about a half of a 5-pound bag. But this other 5-pound bag, we're going to turn into mashed potatoes. We're going to peel and dice, get those on the stove, and once they're done, we're going to make our mashed potatoes. We're going to reserve some of that for tonight's dinner, and the rest of it we're going to put in mounds, stick them in the freezer. Because one of our newest favorite things to have in the freezer is ready to heat and eat mashed potatoes. We absolutely love them. Yesterday I took 2 1-pound containers of frozen turkey out of the freezer. I'm letting these thaw because we're going to have hamburger steak. So all we're going to do is peel, dice, and get these potatoes on the stove with some water. Once they're done, we're going to make mashed potatoes. I'm going to go ahead and get the hamburger steak prepped. So this is just some breadcrumbs I had in the freezer. Maybe 1/3 of a cup. Tomorrow I have to go pick up my milk. I only have a pint left. Just want to hydrate this breadcrumbs just a bit. That looks good. Go ahead and put a little bit of salt and pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. I'm going to add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, maybe a tablespoon, eyeballing that. Get our hydrated breadcrumbs in here. And 1 egg. And I washed my hands. And we're just going to put this in the refrigerator until we're ready to cook them. I went ahead and took a quart of chicken broth out of the pantry to make our gravy. Still waiting on those potatoes. The bread is still in the oven proofing. I'm going to put my breadcrumbs back in the freezer and the raw potatoes back in the pantry. The potatoes are done and I drained the water. The way I like my potatoes is that when you insert a knife, it slides off perfectly easy and there's no resistance. That is perfect. I have 1 stick of butter and I think I'm going to do a stick and a half. Does that sound good to y'all? I think it sounds good to me. Put the lid on it, and because I just took that butter out of the refrigerator, it's hard as a rock. So I'll just leave it in here and let the potatoes steam and melt that butter. We're going to go ahead and get started on those hamburger steaks. I am using ground turkey. Ground turkey is lean, so I am putting a little bit of olive oil in our pan. Out of the 2 pounds of ground turkey with all the fixings, I should get about 6 hamburger steaks. I don't weigh it, I don't measure it, I just make them. I'm going to get the pan screaming hot before we add the hamburger steaks in there. That will prevent it from sticking to the bottom of that pan. You start seeing a little bit of waves and movement in the oils. That's when you know your pan is hot. I'm going to take about a baseball size of your meat mixture. I washed my hands. We're just going to do 3 at a time. Now while we're waiting on the hamburger steaks to cook, let's go ahead and finish our potatoes. And let the little piece of butter paper in there. So the potatoes have been cooked. We added 1.5 sticks of butter. We're going to add a good pinch of pepper, a good pinch of salt. I like garlic potatoes. I am going to add about a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. This is a 1/4 teaspoon measure. Now remember, we started off with 5 pounds of potatoes. Some milk. And we're going to mix that up really well. Let's taste it for salt and pepper. Okay, it needs some pepper and some salt. Tad bit more milk. And that's it. Let's go ahead and give our hamburger steaks a flip. I want to turn it up to a medium low, closer to the medium. They're not done, but I want them to cook in the gravy. So I'm going to take them out and start a new set. A little bit of olive oil. Looks like I'm getting a perfect 6 pieces of hamburger steak from 2 pounds. Awesome. And we're just going to cook this the same way. A few minutes on this side, flip them. A few minutes on that side, take them out. Then we're going to work on that gravy. So after I took the last hamburger steaks out of this pan, I added a little bit of water to the hot pan so I can get up some of that stuck on hamburger meat. Scrape that out. I'm not going to wash the pan. I'm just going to scrape some of that burnt stuff or stuck stuff that was on the bottom. And I got a paper towel, just giving it a good wipe. Now we're going to go ahead and get started on the gravy. So we need to make a roux. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of butter and about a tablespoon of olive oil. I like mixing those two fats together because it adds beautiful flavor. I need to fill up all my jars here. So we're going to add some salt and some pepper. Once this butter melts, we're going to add some flour and make a roux. And then we're going to add some broth. I'm using a turkey chicken broth that we made together and canned. So equal fats to equal flour. Add about 2 tablespoons of flour. Get that into a paste-like consistency. And that looks good to me. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. We have that in our ground turkey. We're going to add that to our gravy. Maybe a tablespoon. Oh, it already smells good, family. So I have a quart of stock. We're going to add a little bit at a time so it becomes the consistency we want. Let's start off with 2 cups. We're going to warm that broth in with that roux till it starts thickening, and we'll add as we need it. Oh, family, I forgot to toast the garlic puck. It's okay, putting it in there right now. Add a little bit more stock or broth. But first we need to get our hamburger steaks in this gravy. Oh, it smells delicious. It needs a little bit of salt. And some pepper. And I'm going to put a little bit more Worcestershire, maybe a teaspoon. So we have a tablespoon plus a teaspoon. We'll add just a tad bit more chicken broth. So it's probably about 2.5 cups. Well, perfect. We're going to put our hamburger steaks back in here so they can finish cooking in this gravy. It'll flavor the hamburger steaks. It's going to flavor the gravy. Yummy. And if we have any pan drippings, go ahead and put all that back in there also. Just going to let that sit for about 30-40 minutes until it's done. And just like my spices, I like having backups of all my other kitchen staples such as plastic wrap, aluminum foil, parchment paper. Because when I run out, that's not the time I want to go to the store or go online to buy it. I think I bought this in October of 2023. So it was 4 months ago, and this is a 300 square foot parchment paper. But I have a backup. And now that I'm opening this one, I'm going to order another one real soon. I'm going to date it of the day I took it out of the pantry to start using it, so I know how long it lasts. Now we're going to go ahead and get the mashed potatoes in the freezer. We have 8 on here. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator until it cools off a bit, then I'll put it in the freezer. Now we do want to save some for dinner for tonight. Let's see what we have here. We're going to leave this amount for dinner tonight, and we'll have it for lunch tomorrow. Looks like I'm going to have a total of 13 that's going to go in the freezer. That is pretty good, family. So the hamburger steaks are still on the stove in the gravy to finish cooking. Our mashed potatoes for dinner tonight is ready. Plus our mashed potatoes we're going to stick in the freezer or in the refrigerator cooling off. I want to go ahead and do the dishes, get the kitchen reset, and then it'll be almost time to eat dinner. I absolutely love productive days where I can get dinner done, some freezer meals, but it's coming along pretty good, family. See you in a few. Let's go ahead and temp our hamburger steaks. Ground turkey has both white and dark meat, so we want to make sure it's 175 degrees. We're going into the side so we can get more meat on the thermometer. We're not even at 160 yet. So we're going to let it cook in that gravy just a little bit longer. Give everything a little flip. Ah, it smells so good in here, family. We're going to let that go for another 15-20 minutes, and then we'll check the temperature again. So we've got the hamburger steak still cooking in the gravy. We also have some mashed potatoes for tonight. Plus in the refrigerator we have 13 mounds or balls of mashed potatoes cooling off so we can get those in the freezer. The hamburger steak has cooked to 175 degrees. It is done. So for breakfast this morning, all we had was coffee. We really weren't that hungry, so we did not make or heat or even eat breakfast this morning. Lunch, we had the leftover turkey / chicken Mexican rice we made yesterday. And dinner, we've got hamburger steak with gravy, some mashed potatoes, plus we have 2 pans of mashed potatoes ready for the freezer. So I hope this week's meals gave you some inspiration how to cook a healthy, nutrient-dense, on a budget meals for your family. If you don't mind, give this video a thumbs up. While you're at it, please subscribe. I would love to have you part of the Granby family. If you want to check out how I buy protein to put in my freezer when I find it on sale, because you know we don't buy things we want, we buy things we need at a discount price, either on sale or if it's on clearance, close to the expiration date but not over the expiration date. Go check that video out. It's a really good video on an insight of how we build our pantry, both freezer and shelf, how to have food security in our home. I hope you take that knowledge and incorporate it into your family on how to have food security for you and your family. Now I need to go ahead and scoop up some dinner. We'll probably have a salad on the side. If the husband wants some green beans, I'll just grab some out of the freezer, stick it on the stove, warm that up with a little bit of salt and pepper and a tad bit of butter. Mashed potatoes need to go into the freezer so they can freeze solid, so I could get those in Ziploc bags. Our new favorite ready-to-heat frozen food item is mashed potatoes. I love it. This was 5 pounds of mashed potatoes. We have a total of 13 mounds or balls of mashed potatoes for future use. Plus we have some mashed potatoes for our dinner tonight and our lunch tomorrow. Right over here you're going to see 2 videos. Go check those out until the next upload. They're either going to inspire you to get in your kitchen, to learn how to cook from scratch, how to buy things when they're on sale, stock your freezer, stock your pantry, or they're going to give you a chuckle. Either one is fine with me. Until the next time, y'all have a blessed day. Bye, family.